What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. Now this week's episode, we are now officially on the fallout. Sorry guys, I'm like tired right now. Anyway, with the fallout of NXT deadline had took place this Saturday, a lot has changed. We have brand new NXT Tag Team Champions, Braun Breaker retains his title, and we crowned the first ever men's and women's Iron Survivors, and now we know the two co-main events for NXT New Year's Evil. I believe on January 10th. I think they announced it. I think they announced it would be January 10th. Which I could be wrong. I think it was January 10th, but the question is, did NXT Deadline live up to our expectations, or could it have ended differently? Well, we're about to find out in today's video because I'm going to be reviewing the full card of NXT Deadline and give you guys my thoughts on the card, rate it on a scale of 1 stars to 5. 5 obviously being the best, 1 ended up being nothing more than total bullshit. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, looking at this card and watching Deadline on Saturday, I'm gonna be honest, it might how I review this might just surprise you. But before we get started with this video, with this episode, if you guys enjoy it and you guys want to see more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue, which will get posted every Monday. Ooh, excuse me. There we go. Make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. It is totally free. You don't have to pay anything. All you gotta do is just hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and turn on all notifications so you guys don't miss out on any future content that comes your way. And as always, make sure you guys follow me and check out my social media. Links will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. If you guys want to send me fan mail, the info will be in the description as well. And also, too, guys, really quickly, make sure you guys check out the community tab. I've been posting a few posts on there over the last few months. So make sure you guys check out the community tab. Post comments, leave some likes, and also too, if you guys missed out on the last 2 videos that I did, which were yesterday, not only did I do an opening of the brand new Dark World structure deck, but I also talked about a potential WWE return for William Regal, which again, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. It's possible we could see it happen, but only time will tell. But let's get straight into it. Kicking things off is the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge that featured Zoe Stark, Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez, Kiana James, and Indy Hartwell, who actually last week on NXT won a triple threat match that featured herself, Wendy Chu, and Fallon Henley. And even though that was the case, it didn't really work out so well. But the order of entry was as follows: Roxanne Perez, Zoe Stark, Kiana James, Cora Jade, Indy Hartwell. I'm gonna be honest, this was by the way, because of my cough, I'm drinking Theraflu again, so I do humbly apologize. But I'm gonna be honest, this lineup, not the best. It could have been better. I feel like if there was one person who I would replace, I would probably replace not Perez. I probably would have replaced Kiana James with I don't know. In my honest opinion, I probably would have replaced Kiana James with someone like maybe Fallon Henley, because I know that she's been turning a lot of heads as of late, especially from this past year. So it's possible that we could have seen Fallon Henley in the match, but it just was not meant to be. But to be honest, this was actually interesting because Zoe Stark picked up a fall, Cora Jade picked up a fall, Indy Hartwell picked up a fall, and Roxanne Perez also picked up a fall as well. Kiana James was the only one that did not. So this actually meant that Kiana James needed to score a fall, otherwise it was going to be all over for her, and it was pretty much over. But to reiterate the rules of the Iron Survivor Challenge, the rules were simple. 5 superstars would be in the match. The first two, the two who drew numbers 1 and 2, will start the match, and every 5 minutes another superstar will enter. If you win a fall, you get a point. If you lose a fall, then you go into a penalty box for 90 seconds. And whoever scores the most falls within the 25 minutes would become the #1 contender for the NXT Women's title, and on the men's side, for the NXT title. So obviously there was a lot of pressure on all 10 of these superstars, but in the end, this was pretty much back and forth with the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. This was back and forth, non-stop action. I think Zoe Stark was the one that picked up the first fall. Then I think Roxanne Perez scored the second fall. Cora scored the third. Indy scored the fourth, and Roxanne Perez ended up picking up the last fall for her to win the Iron Survivor Challenge. And now we know that it'll be Roxanne Perez challenging Mandy Rose for the NXT Women's title. I believe I think it was announced it would be at New Year's Eve. I could be wrong. I'll have to check Instagram and see if they made any announcements, because I don't think they did. I know that it was announced on Facebook that we would. I think it was announced on Facebook that we were gonna see it, but I don't know if that is the case. Give me a second, guys. Give me 1 second here. I'm actually looking at Instagram stories. So I do humbly apologize. But anyway, my review on this one could have been better. I feel like yeah, they didn't announce anything at all, so I don't know. I don't think we're gonna be finding out until I think possibly tomorrow night on NXT. Which I could be wrong. But again, now we know Roxanne Perez will be challenging Mandy Rose for the NXT Women's title. But the question is, could this have ended differently? Not gonna lie. No, I don't think it would have I don't think it could have ended differently. I think Roxanne Perez winning that Iron Survivor Challenge was definitely the right call, because Roxanne Perez, the last time she challenged for the NXT Women's title, it was earlier this year. I think it was sometime in the summer, and she got screwed. She got screwed out of the title. And I feel like, had it not been for Cora Jade getting involved and turning her back on Roxanne Perez, I feel like Roxanne Perez probably would have been NXT Women's Champion. But even if, let's say for example, this does take place at NXT New Year's Evil, let's say that. Who's to say that Cora Jade isn't gonna get involved again? The way I see it, this needs to be contested in a match where it can keep everybody out and the combatants in, like a steel cage, maybe a Hell in a Cell. Who the hell knows? I think honestly, I think in my opinion, it really wouldn't matter, because Cora Jade's gonna get involved anyway. So there's really no point, because she doesn't want Roxanne Perez to become NXT Women's Champion. We know that. We know that from watching Cora and Roxanne beat the living hell out of each other. I think it was that, what was it? Halloween Havoc? I think it was. Yeah, I was right. Yeah. So if you guys remember Halloween Havoc, we saw Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez beat the living hell out of each other, and it was insane. It was absolutely insane. So my rating on this, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna give this one three stars, only because of the fact that the way the match ended was just from out of nowhere. It was from out of nowhere. Roxanne was literally protecting her second fall, I guess you could say, and even if, and let's say for example Kiana James did score a fall. Let's say that. Even if she did score a fall on Roxanne Perez, excuse me, Perez still would have won either way. But could it again? But again, the question is, could it have ended differently? No, I don't think so. I think Roxanne Perez winning that match was indeed the right call in my opinion. Next up, we've got Isla Dawn versus Alba Fire. There's really not much to say with this matchup. I think honestly, this was probably the worst match I had seen on the card. Just because of the fact that Isla Dawn only got involved in Alba's last woman standing match with Mandy Rose, because of the fact that the last title match or rather title opportunity that Isla Dawn had, it was against Meiko Satomura on NXT UK, and it didn't work out so well. I guess you could say for Isla Dawn. But this version of but honestly, this version of Isla Dawn, I think honestly, we're finally starting to see we're finally starting to see Isla Dawn for who she is, if that makes sense. And this matchup, this was a squash match. I'm not gonna go into full details. All I can tell you is that the closing moments of the match, the referee was coughing up some sort of like black liquid or something like that. Isla Dawn threw Alba Fire into the middle turnbuckle and picked up the 1, 2, 3. Not gonna lie, this was pretty bad. I'm giving this one 2 stars. This was arguably one of the worst matches that NXT has produced in quite some time. I think if there was one person who would have done worse, I think honestly, my opinion, it probably would have been Von Wagner, in my honest opinion. But that's just me. Could have ended differently if the match lasted let's say 20 minutes, because this one was only 10 minutes long. Had the match have gone 20 minutes, maybe a 30-minute instant classic, I think Alba Fire probably would have won. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. But we do got to move on to the NXT Tag Team titles between Pretty Deadly and The New Day. This was actually probably one of the most entertaining, but one of the most incredible matches that The New Day has had in quite some time. I think their last big major instant classic match was I think against the Usos just a few weeks ago on SmackDown for the undisputed tag team titles, which that match ended incredibly. That match, it could have gone either way, but this one was about that. Obviously the NXT universe was showing a lot of respect for both The New Day and Pretty Deadly. There was even a time it was the last several minutes of the match, they decided to play hot potato with one of the NXT tag team titles and decided to attempt to pull in Eddie Guerrero. If you guys get that reference, you guys will know. But yeah, they tried. The referee was not having it. He was not having it, and it didn't work out so well. But one thing that stood out to me the most was the fact that Kofi Kingston has never competed from what I remember. I think Kofi has never competed in NXT other than Deadline. So let me Kofi Kingston NXT. I wonder. I'm trying to look. Yeah, I don't think so. I thought so. This was actually his first match in NXT, and they instantly became tag team champions. And another thing that stood out to me the most was that this was Xavier Woods' first NXT title in his entire career in WWE. So that says a lot. That says a lot. But now the New Day now have held a dozen. Think about that. A dozen tag team titles within the, within the 8 years, almost 10 years that the New Day has been together. But Kofi has also made history by being the only person in WWE to have the most tag team title runs ever, with 15. Ooh, excuse me, with 15 across what, 5 different superstars: CM Punk, Evan Bourne, R-Truth, and both members, and of course the other 2 members of the New Day. That's 5 teammates that he has had throughout his entire career in WWE, which is amazing. Could this have ended differently? I mean, it's the New Day, so you can't really outthink the New Day, if that makes sense. So no, I don't think it could have ended differently. Maybe if Pretty Deadly had pulled their usual stunts, then you know what, maybe it could have ended differently. But I don't think it would have. I don't think so. This is an easy 4 stars. This was probably one of the best probably one of the best tag team title matches in NXT this entire year, in which I do plan to do a top 10 top 10 best WWE matches of 2022. But who knows? Maybe that match could be on him. Who knows? But I think what I'm gonna do with that top 10 is I might base it off of the premium live events, and maybe a couple of like Raw and SmackDown shows or something like that. I might do that. I'm not entirely sure. I might do that, but for the most part, I think it's gonna be I think for the most part, it'll probably be premium live events to be honest. But this one, again, 4 stars. Could have ended differently? I don't think so. I think New Day winning those tag team titles, right call. Now we got the Men's Iron Survivor Challenge that featured Carmelo Hayes, JD McDonough, Grayson Waller, Joe Gacy of Schism, and Axiom, who actually defeated, I believe, Von Wagner and Andre Chase in a triple threat match last week on NXT. The order of entry was as follows: JD McDonough, Axiom, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, and Joe Gacy. Obviously, and here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. JD McDonough, just like Kiana James, did not even score a fall, which is insane, which is pretty crazy. Everybody and Grayson Waller actually scored upon his music hitting. He actually scored 2 falls back to back, which was something that nobody wanted to see, but we saw it. Carmelo Hayes scored 2 points. Grayson Waller scored 2 points. Joe Gacy scored 2 points. Axiom scored 2 points. And it all came down to the final few minutes, to the final like 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes of the match. Grayson Waller scored a 3rd fall and decided to be a massive dick about it, and decided, fuck these guys, I'm just gonna run. He was running and ran the clock out. He ran the clock out, and now he is the number 1 contender for the NXT title, which I believe will take place at New Year's Evil, which I don't know. There will be more info on that tomorrow night on NXT, potentially, but I'm gonna be honest, this was probably the best match, probably one of the best matches of the card. I'm gonna give this one 3 stars. But the question is, could it have ended differently? If here's the thing, if all 4 men, if the remaining 4 competitors, had decided to, lure Grayson Waller back into the ring, and let's say for example Carmelo Hayes picked up that their victory, I feel like as if Carmelo Hayes probably could have won. excuse me, for all we know, Joe Gacy could have won, Axiom could have won, but as far as JD McDonough, there was no shot. There was no shot that JD McDonough was gonna win. He had no chance of winning that match whatsoever. But again, I think as far as as far as the match goes, Grayson Waller winning that match is hell on earth. And let's be honest here. Let's just be honest here. If Grayson Waller does beat Braun Breaker and become the NXT champion, it'll be like watching heel Tommaso Ciampa all over again. Because if you guys recall, and I'm gonna go back to that one. Let me go to the search engine. Tommaso Ciampa. Aleister Black. So if you guys recall, back on July 25th, 2018, if you guys recall that one, there was a match between Aleister Black and Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT title. Aleister Black was obviously the big the big babyface of the whole of the match, of the story, I guess you could say. Tommaso Ciampa was the heel because of his actions on Johnny Gargano. Because of Johnny Gargano's interference, Tommaso Ciampa won the NXT title, and hell froze over. If Grayson Waller wins the NXT title, it's basically that night all over again. Hell will freeze over, and that's something that nobody wants to see. So this brings us, obviously, to the main event between Braun Breaker and Apollo Crews for the NXT title. Obviously, the last time he challenged for the NXT title, Apollo Crews lost to Finn Balor. This was actually a pretty good match. This was back and forth, non-stop action. Apollo Crews went like he was about to go dark on Braun Breaker, but this was basically back and forth. This was a battle of speed, power, and agility versus speed, power, and agility. Who was faster? Who was stronger? Who was more agile? And the answer was Braun Breaker, as he hit Apollo Crews with a massive spear to retain the NXT title. And the closing moments of the show itself, Grayson Waller attacks Braun Breaker, holding up the NXT title. So, could this have ended differently? I don't think so. I think Apollo Crews, even though he's been in WWE for quite a while, I feel like Apollo Crews still has a lot to prove in order for him to become the NXT champion. So this one, I'm giving this one 3.5 stars. This was absolutely incredible. Not sure if Braun Breaker will be able to retain the title against Grayson Waller, because knowing Grayson Waller, all he's gonna do is try and poke the bear, and if you poke the bear, you're pretty much fucked. So again, I don't think it could have ended differently. I think Braun Breaker retaining the title was probably the right call. But all in all, this match, the card itself, Not too bad. Not too bad. I'm gonna give this whole card 3.5 stars only because let's if the match between Isla Dawn and Alba Fire had gone to like a 20-minute, 30-minute instant classic or something like that, that match would have been easy 4 stars, and I would have rated the whole show 4 stars instantly. So, but again, 3.5 stars, not too bad, not too bad. But that brings me to the question of the day, which is this: who do you see walking out as NXT champion and NXT Women's champion? Will it be Mandy Rose, or will it be Roxanne Perez? Will it be Braun Breaker, or will it be Grayson Waller? I'm very curious of what you guys have to say. Let me know down in the comments below, and that will do it for this week's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. And if you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more episodes, which get posted every Monday, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on my social media. The links will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.